Good evening, everybody, and thank you once again for tuning in to the Milford Informer, brought to you here each and every week on Milford TV. I am your host, Tim Coet. I don't think you could have drawn up a more perfect week for the kids to be on school vacation. We hope everyone had a chance to cure some of that winter cabin fever by enjoying some time outside in the 60-degree temperatures. We hope you'll also enjoy what we have coming up on the show this week. Let's get started by taking a look at tonight's top stories rundown. Tonight, we'll share the touching story behind Jackie's Boutique over at Milford High School and how they're helping to make students' fairy tale prom dreams come true. Also tonight, we'll share with you the final highlights of the winter sports regular season, and we'll also hear from members of the boys basketball team as well as their head coach. And also tonight, we'll share with you the official MIAA playoff seedings for the Milford basketball teams, letting you know when and where the team's opening round playoff matchups will take place. Over at Milford High School, several dedicated volunteers have been working on an initiative geared toward helping students experience the excitement of preparing for prom season without suffering through the extreme prices. The program has continued to grow since its inception and has also taken on an added meaning throughout the community after it was redesigned and dedicated to the memory of a beloved Milford resident.
When I took over the boutique and came to Milford last June, I walked in there and it was a custodial closet with cleaning supplies and the plans from the building, probably from the 1970s. A lot of dust and a lot of dirt, and 3 racks of very outdated dresses. And my first instinct was, this is not where I would want my daughter to shop, regardless of what their financial situation was. So I had approached Carrie Bannock and asked her what she thought about me trying to turn it into a boutique. I knew it was going to take some time, basically because you needed funds. I needed money to be able to build racks and bring in paint and rugs. But I decided to start out by cleaning. So Lisa White, who is a substitute nurse here, who has actually been helping Sandy out at Brookside, she came up and she and I started cleaning it out, and we started the white paint, and that was going to be the start of it. I had already started getting a lot of the dresses donated. I had already had 2 dress drives and had already got about 250 new dresses, but they still didn't have a pretty home. And then, unfortunately, in July, coming back from vacation, I found out that Jackie was killed in an automobile accident, and I spent most of July with her family, and I came back to work and I realized that Cinderella treasure chest closet just wasn't doing it for me. I went home, I spoke to my husband, I went to bed that night, and I woke up and basically said, I know exactly what I need to do. So I came in the following day, I spoke with Carrie, and I asked her what her thoughts were of changing the boutique's name to Jackie's Boutique in honor of Jackie.
The idea of it came about in July, and we just kind of tossed around some different ideas throughout the summer, and then it really kind of got started, the makeover of it in September, I would say, as Cheryl Shea was here, and she was kind of the one who inspired us to do this. But she had to come back to work here at the high school, and I had decided not to go back to work yet. So I kind of said, geez, if you don't mind, I'd like to come up here and start just kind of painting and putting some ideas out there, and it just has kind of evolved and blossomed into what it is now. And it was what I envisioned, but I didn't know if I could bring it to this point. And it was also what Cheryl had envisioned too, with just the feel of it, the warmth and the soft colors with the purples, and then all the dresses and the bling at the same time. So it just kind of all just came together. But been working pretty steady since September on this, so about a good 7 months of trying to bring this to where it is now, where the girls can actually come in and start to use it like it's meant to be used.
The boutique stands for everything that Jackie stood for, which was, she was beautiful, she had integrity, she had class, she was so special, she gave back to kids, and she always helped the underdog, and I really felt that this would help maybe with the healing process.
It has been a total transformation. And again, something that we had in mind, but it just really is even surprised me that it's actually come full circle, and it does, kind of look the way I thought it would.
Every person in this community has just reached out in every which way to help. Between the donations of dresses, we're up almost 600 dresses now. The elementary schools did a coin drive. We raised $1,600. They raised $1,600. It presented us a check on Friday. We have more checks coming in. So this has definitely been a place that these young girls can come in. We've got over 20 dresses right now that have been booked for prom, more than we ever have. And we're hoping that this is the trial year, and next year it'll even be bigger. My goal is hoping to be able to open this up to other communities.
Opening up the doors and kind of getting the girls to just come in and take a look is what's been needed. So it's now starting to grab hold, so that girls are coming in and realizing that they're not just older, outdated dresses, and there could be a dress for everyone and anyone, regardless of your shape, size, financial circumstances, whatever your plans are. Come in and give it a try. What I've also tried to sort of sell the girls on in a way is just to come in. You don't even have to commit. Kind of take away any preconceived ideas of what you think it is. Come in and just enjoy the space. Have some fun. Try on dresses just for the fun of being girly and trying on a dress. And it sort of sells itself.
These kids go to the stores and they see the tags, $300, $200, and they're just flipping. And all people care about is the dress. Here, the girls have said, this feels awesome. We're getting individual attention. The dress isn't going to be is unique. It's not going to be something someone else has. And I'm finding the girls are finding their dress within 2 or 3 shots, which is amazing because usually they try on 15 to 20 dresses. So the positive feedback from these girls have been amazing. And we're getting all girls that can afford it. This isn't about whether you have money or not. This is about going to a place to borrow a dress that has very little use, if none at all, and be able to maybe get your hair done and your nails done instead of having to spend all that money on a dress. We're very, very lucky. Every day we have dresses coming in, every day. After this weekend, we had, I want to say 14 messages on the Facebook page, and when I got into work today, had another 15 of people saying, what can we do to help? And it's just not Milford. We've got Natick, Millis, Needham, Hopedale. They all have called and asked, what can we do? We have dresses, where can we donate them?
It has been something that, as I've been, that I've been able to sort of pour my heart into, and my efforts and my love into what was a closet, and turn it into this boutique that seems to have a lot of her here. For me, anyway. I've tried to bring in her color, purple, and her pictures, and the dresses that have the bling, but even in the decor of the chandelier and the bulbs hanging from the ceiling that are kind of blingy. And then just kind of tie it in with feeling like if I can keep this going and keep it alive, and have it mean something to the girls that are utilizing it, then it just keeps Jackie alive for me, and it keeps her spirit alive.
The 2016-17 winter sports regular season has now come and gone. When we last updated you, the Milford girls basketball team had officially clinched their spot in the postseason, but the future of the boys team remained unclear. The Hawks had to win one of their final 3 contests to guarantee themselves a spot. However, a win last Friday night against Sharon would leave open the possibility of a winner-take-all game for the Davenport Division title over the weekend against North Attleboro. Could they keep those division title dreams alive? Let's check out highlights from last Friday's game. The Scarlet Hawks hoped last Friday night would finally be the night they made their playoff dreams a reality. Milford would look to complete win number 10 against the Sharon Eagles. Milford cruised to a win against Sharon in early January, but the young Eagles' offense has made steady progress over the course of the season. After Sharon hit a single free throw on their opening possession, Zach Tamani would get Milford's offense started with a three. As it turned out, that would be just the first of many three-point shots for the Scarlet Hawks through the first half.
Now Masick, the pass to Kelly. Now back out from three for Arcudi. Anthony gets it going. That's a quick 12-2 run for the Eagles, and finally Milford is able to bounce back. A big three for Arcudi. Now the pass into Kelly, he doesn't like it. Back out to Davila for three, and he gets it. That pass almost stolen. Davila able to hang on to it and gets another three. Davila coming up big here in the final seconds. It's down to a 1-point Sharon lead. Davila, tough pass but handled by White. Now Davila again from three. Three late three-pointers for Davila. It pushes Milford back in front. 3 seconds to go. Ripley lets it fly, and it bounces through at the buzzer.
The outside shooting would be red hot for both sides through the opening 8 minutes. That buzzer-beating shot from Sharon star Ricardo Ripley would allow the visitors to hang on to a 1-point advantage after 1 quarter. The Eagles' perimeter shooting would remain hot in the second. Here it's senior Danny Emmerman who gets it to go for 3. Then after a missed 3 for Tamani, Sharon gets the ball ahead quickly to junior Jimmy Fitzhenry, who makes it back-to-back 3-pointers as part of a 9-0 run to open up the second quarter for Sharon. After a couple of inside buckets pulled Milford closer, it would be a hustle play from Shane Cosquet that would get the Hawks offense rolling again.
As now Sharon gets the wide open look from 3-point range. It's no good. Cosquet initially had the rebound, and he's able to track it down, save it from going out of play, and get it to Tamani. Good play. Good athleticism for Cosquet. Now Davila. Here's Davila. Gets some space for Tamani, and there's Zach from outside. Milford hoping for some late points here. 13 seconds to go. They find Davila. Perfect for Davila. He has been red hot from long range in the half. 39-35, 3 seconds to go. Modilewski with the shot, and he gets it at the buzzer. And so Sharon able to close out both quarters of this first half with buzzer-beating threes. That time, it's Tommy Modilewski.
It was a shooting gallery over the first 16 minutes as the two sides combined for 15 three-pointers, 9 of them knocked down by the Scarlet Hawks, and 5 of them coming courtesy of Nate Davila. Still, Milford trailed by 7 heading into the third quarter. Shane Cosquet would get that third quarter off to a good start, showing excellent touch around the rim. The teams would begin to trade buckets until this quick strike to the hoop for Tamani cut the Sharon lead down to 4. On the ensuing Eagles possession, big man Malik Lorquette would show off some range, draining the 3 to up the Sharon lead. That bucket would set off a 13-6 run for the Eagles to close out the third quarter, allowing Sharon to take an 11-point lead into the fourth quarter. Milford would go on a run of their own in the final period. It would start at the free throw line. Davila misses his second shot, but Brendan White pulls down the rebound and then puts it up for 2 and gets the foul. He'd convert the 3-point play to cut into the Sharon lead. Later, Milford would exploit a numbers advantage up the floor, pushing the ball to Kelly, who would lay it in for 2 to bring the deficit down to 5. Still down by 5 with 4.5 minutes to play, Milford would have the ball in their hands, but a great defensive play by Tommy Modilewski would result in the steal, and he'd somehow get the ball ahead to Ripley, who would get the layup. That turned out to be the play Sharon needed to swing momentum into their favor for the remainder of the night. The Eagles would close out the game on a 14-5 run, and another chance to clinch a playoff spot would go by the boards for Milford. The Hawks would lose to Sharon by a final score of 79-65. So with the Davenport title no longer at stake, Milford traveled to North Attleboro on Sunday night, hoping to complete their quest for 10 wins. Milford entered the game with a winning streak against North that stretched all the way back to 2012, but the Rocketeers would put a stop to that. In a game that was relatively competitive for 3+ quarters, North outscored Milford 20-1 in the final 6 minutes to pull away with a 66-45 win. And so for the second season in a row, Milford's playoff fate would be decided on the final day of the regular season. The Hawks took their home floor on President's Day in what would essentially be a play-in game against the Tri-Valley League Medway Mustangs. Once again, let's go to the highlights. It was an atmosphere mixed with excitement and tension on Monday night as the Scarlet Hawks welcomed in the Medway Mustangs. Medway dealt Milford a devastating loss back on January 4th, and the Tri-Valley League champs would look to do so again to spoil the Hawks' senior night and eliminate Milford from postseason contention. The Mustangs looked to have a size advantage in this matchup, but in the first minute of play, Zach Tamani would set the tone for Milford's toughness, driving inside and getting his shot to fall to give the Hawks an early lead. Less than a minute later, it was senior Alex Masick who would step up on this senior night, burying a 3 to get the hometown fans roaring. Now let's listen into our commentary duo of Patrick Garapi and Carl Wilhelm for one of the top sound bites of this winter season.
Tamani back with the ball, finds inside man, Kelly hanging in the air and able to bank it home.
Every kiss begins with Caden off the glass.
The Hawks would continue to spread the offense around in the opening quarter. Here Nate Davila gets handcuffed by the pass, but he recovers and drops in a deep 3 to put Milford's point total into double digits. Then it's back to Masick, who goes back and forth with Caden Kelly before driving his way inside to get the bucket that would give the Hawks a 10-point advantage. In the final seconds of the first, watch this great transition play as Cosquet pushes the bounce pass ahead to Anthony Arcudi, who takes it to the rack. 19 points in the first 8 minutes for the Scarlet Hawks to give them an 8-point lead on Medway. The Hawks would continue to bring that energy and execution into the second quarter.
Inbounds for Medway, led ahead and picked off now. Good play by Arcudi. Tip it back to Masick. Over to Davila. He lets a man fly by him, sets up a 3 and drills it.
Another great play. The bench is fired up from Milford.
And a timeout called here. Medway just in disillusion right now with what's going on in this game. A team that's only lost 3 times this year. And they are getting all they can handle as Arcudi with another power move inside.
Great job high off the glass.
Tamani down low, inside, easy. Burke slipped on the transition there, making an easy lay-in. And turnover here, Arcudi over to Kelly. He puts it in for 2, and we got another timeout here. 34-19 in favor of Milford.
Milford would outscore Medway 18-11 in the second to give themselves a 15-point halftime lead. After a bit of a sluggish start to the third quarter, it was back to the transition game for Milford. Tamani hits Arcudi up the floor, who gets it to roll around and in to open up the second half scoring. Arcudi would really start to heat up from there. He would be responsible for the first 7 points scored in the second half and would then make this steal on the inbounds pass, resulting in a Kelly bucket that would push the Hawks' lead all the way to 22 points. Milford would keep the lead over 20 points through the majority of the third quarter, and with the clock winding down, it's Zach Tamaro off the bench who would heave up a contested shot that would fall through at the buzzer, making it a 56-33 lead with still one final quarter to play. Once again, the seniors would take center stage over the course of that fourth quarter. The quartet of Tamani, Arcudi, Masick, and Davila would combine for 52 total points on the night. It was a magical night for the Hawks and their seniors as they would lead the way to a 73-46 victory over Medway. After the game, we spoke to several of the Scarlet Hawks players to get their reaction to this playoff-clinching win.
First time we played them, we only lost by 1. It was on a buzzer beater. We knew that we could beat them, so we were playing our basketball.
Defensively, we had to turn it up, and that's what we did.
We needed him to get the blocks and to get the threes. We were out here.
Us as seniors, we came together, we were like, this is our last opportunity to play together at all. And then picked it up in this game, forgot about everything that happened yesterday, got the win. We didn't change anything, we just had to bring the intensity. We knew our defense was there, we had to just fight hard the whole game. the whole game.
It was really our defense. We really wanted to rebound with Caden, starts underneath, and we just wanted to get out and run. That's what it started with. When we push our offense, no one can run with us. That's what happens.
Do you have any kind of inclination of who you're going to play in the first round?
I'm pretty sure we're playing Marlboro, so they're pretty good. They have a good couple kids, so we got to work this week and get back to it.
It was a dominant victory for the Scarlet Hawks, and one the team hopes will spark a deep run into the playoffs. Before the playoff seedings were officially decided, we caught up with boys head coach Paul Seaver to look back on the Hawks' regular season performance and to get a feel for the team's confidence heading into the MIAA tournament. Once again, the Milford boys basketball team will be represented in the MIAA playoffs. Just as it happened a season ago, Milford needed to pull off a win on the last day of the regular season to punch their playoff ticket.
We would have hoped to qualify earlier, but sometimes it works out that way, and maybe it's going to work out in our favor as we move into the tournament this year. You know, we couldn't have played any better on Monday against Medway, and we'll take it and then we'll use it, and we'll build some momentum going into the tournament with that win, that's for sure. But it's good to know that in a winner-go-home situation for the second straight year, we can win and keep going.
The Hawks look to be in position to contend for a Davenport title this season, but a few tough losses down the stretch ultimately took the team out of the running.
In the league as a whole, the best team was going to win the Davenport, and North Attleboro ended their regular season with 7 straight wins. They ended up with 15 total, and that's why they put a banner on the wall. For us, I think for my guys coming back next year, you were close, okay, but you didn't get the league title. Let's get after it all off season and let's build something going into next year so you can be in the same spot to compete for a banner next year.
Looking back on the regular season, there were plenty of standout performances on the Hawks varsity roster, but the contributions made by Milford's lone underclassman Brendan White were eye-opening for the fans and for the team's head coach.
Brendan jumped in. He was on JV last year as a freshman. He got bigger. He got better all off season, and I think he kind of hit the ground running going into the season. He earned an off-the-bench role early on in the season, and he just continued to practice hard as we go through the dog days of December and the dog days of January. And I mean, he ended up making, I think, 2 starts over the last 4 games there. And, you know, he's become a focal point of this rotation, and, you know, he's going to be one of our leaders, hopefully, moving forward. I mean, he's got a long way to go. He's young, but, I mean, we've seen young guys over the last couple of years who have taken advantage of that experience as a sophomore and run with it. Zach Tamani, you know, even Caden has made some big strides. And, you know, I'm very excited to have Brendan a part for the future, and he's had a great sophomore year, a good first season on varsity, and can't wait to see what he's got in store down the line.
As for Milford's senior class, when the team needed them the most, they found a way to elevate their play to a whole new level.
You got your last home game. You know, you should be coming out with energy. You should be coming out focused, especially when you're playing for your tournament life. And those seniors did that on Monday. It was good. We got to give Mike Traff a start, even though he's been out for the season with a concussion, obviously. But it was good to get him the well-deserved recognition. But Alex Masick played fantastic. Nate Davia played fantastic. Zach Damani was fantastic. Anthony Arcudi was fantastic. 52 of 73. I know Damani, Nate, and Anthony were all in double figures. I mean, Masick, he scored 7 points on Monday, but his skill set is on the defensive end. It's the intangibles. It's the rebounding that he does, and you know he was a real leader for us on the court against Medway. And the other 3, they put the ball in the hoop, and they found other ways to put the ball in the hoop. I thought that was the most impressive thing about Medway is Zach and Anthony combined for 13 2-point field goals. They combined for 1 3. So obviously they can hit the outside shot, but I think they played very well at attacking the rim, getting out in transition, and that's something that obviously we saw when we're doing that and we're good at it, we're a tough team to beat.
Milford now knows exactly what their playoff matchup will be. Milford will serve as the number 9 seed in the D2 Central bracket, and they will travel to Marlboro to take on the 8th-seeded Panthers on Monday night at 7 p.m.
We scouted them 2 weeks ago. I got a couple films on them, so we'll be prepared for them. Their starting center is a junior. He's 6'9". He's a Division I prospect. His name's Chris Doherty. But Marlboro's got the experience on us. We might be, you know, hoping to use last year's game against Holliston as experience, but last year Marlboro lost in the district championship. 2 years ago they lost in the state championship. And obviously their center has been there. This is now his 3rd year. He's their focal point, but they have a handful of guards who can mix it up in transition, a handful of guards who can shoot the ball out from the perimeter. And if you let them get going, they're going to be dangerous. But same could be said about us. And, the good news, even going into a big a matchup like Chris Doherty down low, I feel like I have one of the best defensive centers in our league, that's for sure. And Caden's certainly up for a challenge every game. I think it's an emotional team. I think last year's team was an emotional team. I'll even go as far as to say it's a rah-rah group. When things are going well, we can be a very tough team to stop on both sides of the basketball. And again, we saw that firsthand against Medway. And prior to that, and in the couple of weeks before that, we were struggling. We had a lot of games on the road, and it's a different atmosphere. I mean, we had a heck of a crowd and a heck of an environment on Monday for senior night, and I think the kids fed off that. And when shots are falling or you're getting defensive stops, you can get yourself going. You can build that momentum, and I think this team is a dangerous team when they get to that point. With that being said, about some of our road games over the last couple of weeks, going on the road in the playoffs, you would think, all right, how are we going to find a way on the road? Well, it's going to be a playoff environment. I mean, on Monday night here at Milford, it wasn't a playoff game, but it was essentially a playoff game, and we had a playoff environment. And I think if we can harness that energy and harness that emotion, I mean, we can play our best basketball when it matters the most. And that it's a good thing to see that on Monday against Medway. It's going to be an even better thing if we can take it into Marlboro.
Milford fans will have a chance to see a steady diet of Marlboro basketball next week. As it turns out, the Milford girls will also face off against Marlboro in the opening round of the MIAA playoffs. The 11th-seeded Lady Hawks will meet the number 6-seeded Lady Panthers on Tuesday night in Marlboro, with the game tipping off at 7 p.m. Coming up next Saturday, the Claflin Hill Symphony Orchestra will be featuring the latest performance in their 2016-17 season. The concert is titled Seascapes, and it will once again see Claflin team up with the voices of the New World Chorale. The concert will include Symphony No. 1, a sea symphony, composed by Ralph Vaughan Williams, and will also feature other pieces that celebrate the sea. The performance will take place on Saturday, March 4th, over at Upper Town Hall, beginning at 7:30 p.m. For more information or to purchase tickets, log on to their website at claflinhill.org. On March 12th, be prepared to enjoy another exciting musical experience as the Greater Milford Community Chorus presents a concert titled Fabulous 40s and 50s. The performance will feature the GMCC along with the renowned vocal work of the New England Tenors. The concert will take place on Sunday, March 12th at the Union Evangelical Church located at 25 Dutcher Street in Hopedale from 2 to 4 p.m. Tickets are $20 for adults and $6 for students and will be available at the door. For more information, you can contact Heather Walsh at 508-473-1476. And here's an early heads up that on March 19th, our good friends over at the Crossroads Clubhouse will be renewing an annual spring tradition as they hold their annual St. Patrick's Day pancake breakfast. It will be a morning filled with your favorite breakfast staples in a festive holiday environment. The St. Patrick's Day Pancake Breakfast is being held on Sunday, March 19th at the Crossroads Clubhouse on 11 William Street in Hopedale from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The cost for admission is $10 for adults and $5 for Clubhouse members and children under 12. There will also be raffle prizes drawn over the course of the breakfast. To purchase advance tickets or raffle tickets, you can call 508-473-4715.
It is going to be an exciting week as the boys and girls basketball teams get their respective playoff runs underway. Depending on where the teams are playing as the playoffs progress, we will do our best to continue to bring you full game coverage. And as always, the Milford Informer will be the place to be for a complete postseason update next Friday night. We hope you will join us then. Until next time, from all of us here at Milford TV, this is Tim Coet saying have a great week. So long, everybody.